What is a radical act of rebellion? Peaceful, but strong enough to shatter the entire illusion that keeps parasitic forces dominating our race. Quick answer: the practice of sincere self-respect, self-love, and self-acceptance. Step out of manipulation and into your own powers as an individual. Though simple, this is not just a cliche to merely motivate, but it is the root of true solutions. This whole illusion, this matrix, this belief system, this culture, this engineered perception of reality, or whatever you want to call it, thrives off of nothing more than it does people's insecurities and self-resentment. This is an essential core part of the programming because no one can make you feel more weak, helpless, stupid, or powerless than your own self. And when you perceive yourself as weak, consciously or unconsciously, usually both, you're in the ideal mental state to be manipulated because you're not even secure within yourself. And this, well demonstratively, has caused endless, needless division amongst peoples, naturally. But worst of all, it has caused deep division within ourselves. As humans, we have been made to feel ugly and insecure and worthless, etc., when really it is the parasites that are insecure, and naturally they seek to bring insecurity among us because that's all they know, and also because it's the best form of control. Individuals, on the other hand, are capable of so much more than we can even conceive, but instead of using this force to create what we want by our own will, from birth we've been tricked into participating and perpetuating this fear-based system. Our creative powers have been harnessed through manipulation, and as a people, we have for a long time willingly given up our God-given forces to believe and manifest this agenda, which only works to serve a very small parasitic group. And to be clear, I'm saying this not to guilt trip, but to point out the fragility of this illusion, which strikes me as a mass psychotic hallucination that we are unconsciously creating almost. It's so fragile, because without the creative power of the masses that is building it, the creative power of each individual, it could not exist. So, that being said, let us contemplate the nature of parasites. A parasite, of course, is an organism which feeds off of another one that it needs to live. And in this instance, the powers that be need our ignorance, our insecurity, our fear, our resentment, our division, our stupidity, etc. All these qualities which go on to create many worldly manifestations of degeneration that we can see playing out today in current events. The drawback of being a parasitic group, though, is that it relies on others for all of its power, all of its bidding, and so they only have the resources we allow them to have, which has been, unfortunately, great in the past few centuries. These parasites thrive because they are clever in maximizing and harnessing these lower human characteristics that build their empire. Not just on a physical or economic level, but on a deeper level, on an emotional and mental level, where their core programming has really taken a hold on mankind. It's strange, it's unnatural, and it's really starting to show now. These parasites thrive again on you hating yourself, on feeling shame and guilt for merely being a human. And this goes deep within us. I think we all have deep self-worth problems. I know I do. And so we must really learn how to truly have love and respect and trust and acceptance for ourselves, and in turn have love and acceptance for others. Let us now contemplate on the nature of individuals, on human beings, aside from all this trauma-induced mind control. Surely we are not perfect. I think that's self-evident, but the human race is a beautiful one, with a compassionate, emotional, and benevolent nature, and this has remained in our hearts throughout the ages despite all the brutal defeat and suffering that we have endured. We are conscious creators of reality, and I don't mean that lightly. We have inner abilities so great, so threatening, that they just have to be squashed as soon as we're out of the womb. Even before then, mankind is beautiful, resilient, loving, striving. It is an intelligent and spiritual force. One begins to see then how the philosophy of agorism actually goes deep, deep beyond the surface from this perspective, because we need to learn how to reclaim our sovereignty as individuals on the deepest levels of our being, because they've been manipulated. And this is a time to be able to deal with that. We need to open our hearts, and I don't care how cliche that sounds. We really need to open our hearts and open our minds. Being able to have compassion and love for yourself and not fall victim to all these fear-based tactics is not only a defense mechanism against a parasitic control, but it is also the greatest offense against it. When we really think about what it means to love ourselves, and I'm not talking about a narcissistic, conceited kind of love, because that's just another form of insecurity, but in a true compassionate way, it's so important, because not only is it going to bring you a peace that we all seek, but more than that, this is how you're going to begin to remember your inner powers and how to begin to use these powers for your own will rather than the will that has been conditioned in you since you were born. This form of love is vital to our energy, to our beings, and it's fundamental because it's at the root of who you really are. It's how you see yourself, it's how you treat yourself, it's how you treat other people around you. The reason the parasitic forces here have had so much success in building this empire by harnessing our power is because this power is extremely potent. It's a very high creative force. It really is, and it's really time to awaken to that. And maybe some people don't know what I mean, but those who do, if you feel what I'm saying in your heart, it really is that time to awaken that, because we have to not only deprogram this bad belief system that has been taking advantage of us through manipulation, but in its place we have to reprogram new pathways of consciousness and experience that we choose by our own free will. We must learn to love ourselves, because that is when we can take back the reins to our birthright as conscious creators of this reality. It's been hijacked from us. And I truly believe that this is our birthright as humans. And it's been more than forgotten. It has been banished, and again, it's been unconsciously harnessed for a small group of people. And it's not even like most humans don't think about this or most humans don't practice this. People can't even conceive the possibility of this because it's just been wiped out. It's been robbed of them since birth and subliminally retooled to create this system that degenerates everyone. And this is the level of slavery that we are witnessing right now. And again, it's our responsibility then to take this power back. And even though I'm kind of drawing out this hard truth right now, I'm doing it because I'm really trying to emphasize our great power that we have in this strategy towards freedom and peace. I mean, if you're watching this and you get the message, then it's something to be grateful for, really, that we have the vision to not only deprogram this matrix, but to create entirely new possibilities. This is a remarkable gift, and you know in your heart that it has a meaning, it has a purpose in this world. It's important. They're trying to make it sound like it's not, but it is, and you know it is. We got to listen to that. We got to follow our hearts right now and realize that we are going to be that initial wave that can help humanity claim sovereignty back, not just of their property, but in their hearts, in their minds. It's strange that we live in a time where accepting yourself, all your gifts and flaws, is a radical act of rebellion. But that's really where we're at right now. We have to look within and remember who we are, and we have to listen to ourselves, not these outside sources that are trying to program us and influence us to think we're something that we're really not. And this goes way deeper than politics and economics. It goes deeper than philosophy and science. It goes deeper than religion. This is deep in our DNA, in our being. This is in our essence. And naturally, I think it could go without even saying that there's lots of reasons why loving yourself is such a challenging task. It might be the most difficult task right now, but it is the most worthwhile. And you, just like every other individual, are worthy of love and forgiveness and compassion. Fear-based mind control can't manipulate those who truly have love and security in their being, and that's coming from within. We have to remember that comes from within. That doesn't come from a government. That doesn't come from a priest. That comes from us. And parasitic forces can't even understand the capacity of a human being who has awakened to their inner power. So when you cut that fear out of fear-based control, it really starts to dissipate. It can't control you anymore. And we need people that can rise to that level right now. Because as you begin to strengthen yourself, because it does take work, it is hard, it is something that you're going to have to work on deep layers of yourself. But when you can strengthen this and you can step into your own God-given powers, it starts to make a lot more sense of just how a parasitic force could manipulate the reality of the masses. It makes sense because you start to realize this potential that you have and that everyone has within them that lies dormant and lies furthermore harnessed for an agenda that people aren't even consciously aware of what they're creating right now. We have so much potential to create within and without. We are a beautiful, powerful species. We are, but we hate ourselves. We all do. And this reflects back at us brutally in the form of those who are ruling us right now. So again, we have to take that responsibility back. We must learn to be sovereign on all levels and stop looking outside for authority and power and look within to create the world that we actually want to live in. And in doing so, we continue to free ourselves and we lead by example and help others to slowly free themselves and awaken to their inner power. So, thank you for listening. I hope this was some food for thought, and I will see you next time.